perverse tendency to see the cup has always been half full. And I say this because if one takes a global view of all the various stakeholders within our society at large, leave the NHS to one side, and you look at the NHS there, you look at the Treasury, you look at the footballing world, the world of athletics, and we look at so many sort of other subsectors, you find that a lot of the stories that have been told about the NHS that could probably have been told about these other subsectors about 2 decades or 3 decades ago. But we look at where they are now. Who would have thought that we would have Premier team black managers? Who would have thought that Gareth Crooks almost 20 years ago would have been head of the PFA? You could go on and on and on. And if I sort of bring it down to my own experiences, many years ago when I was at the Treasury, again I was at that place where I was one of a few guys batting at the top, and we got together and decided we needed to do something about this, to start mentoring those who were coming beneath us, to get the people, the ladies out of the typing pool, get them doing courses, and we put ourselves together, got Marina Murphy, it was good to see her again last night, to take us over to the Civil Service College and spend time with us, get our mindsets right, get the chip off our shoulders, get the generation gap away from the sort of thinking of no can do to the thinking of yes we can do. And through that certain time we spent together, we were able to go back, cascade the information, cascade the emotional energies to the rest. And if you look at the civil service today, you go to the Home Office, there are senior leaders there. You go to the council 20 years ago, you couldn't find heads of councils who were of the minority persuasion, but you go there now and yes you can. So I'm strongly believing that we're having these conversations, they're good conversations, we're not agitated, we're not on the streets, we're not breaking windows, we're having conversations, and we're trying to, but having had the conversation, having identified what our aspirations and what our goals are, we now have to sit back and say, okay fine, we've done that, how do we now walk the walk? And I believe that some people have talked about courses, some people have talked about coaching. I still think mentoring, and I still think that we need to go back. We're talking about your 11-year-old son. We've got to get them into the kind of courses that matter. You know, I'm from Nigeria, I'm from Africa, and growing up in my time, if you didn't go to be a lawyer, an accountant, an architect, what's the other one, a doctor, you were a failure in life. Your parents would literally disown you. I remember going to university and telling my dad I wanted to be a film director. He said, what? That stuff you do part-time? You're not spending my money training to do that. But look at Steven Spielberg today, and I wish, But the point is that we've got to get our kids into courses that matter. You go to Asia now, the kids are learning mathematics, they're learning IT, they're going into, 20 years ago, the West Coast of America would not have taken Indian guys to come there and teach them how to do IT. But because of the sheer numbers and the sheer quality, it can't be. If we train our kids, get them to be doctors, get them to be microbiologists, get them into MBA programs, I believe that the natural tide will become irresistible. And that with time, you will overwhelm the system so that all whatever perceived agendas will eventually collapse. So I think we need to see the glass has been half full. We need to see how far we've come. And I think sometimes we have to be wary of being, what's the word for it now, being victims of our own aspirations. We can want so much that what we've done so far becomes trivial. We play down. So let's play up and big ourselves up as to what we've done. Understand where we're trying to get to, and understand, like my colleague said, the stepping stones, the infrastructure that needs to be put in place in order to be able to do it. And I'm sure that individually, and indeed collectively, we can make this happen.
Hello, my name's Ricky Lawrence, and my day job is an Equality and Inclusion Officer at London Ambulance Service, but I'm also chair of the National BME Ambulance Committee. And I thought I'd just come along and share some thoughts. Now this week we've been at several events, and one of them was around reviewing the NHS Constitution. Who's heard of the NHS Constitution? Okay. How many of you are staff within the NHS? Hands up. How many of you are users or patients within the NHS? Okay, so there's nearly everybody in here. Now we're talking about Ubuntu today, and I just want to connect Ubuntu and the NHS Constitution. It's being reviewed. There are a series of pledges and values, okay? And if you take the time, I was trying to find it on my iPhone, but it wouldn't let me do it. If you take the time to read the Constitution, it sets out your rights as staff and users of the NHS. And I think if you connect that with Ubuntu and challenge your bosses, challenge your clinics, challenge your doctors, your clinicians to actually put some spirit of Ubuntu and the NHS Constitution into real life, I think the NHS and you as patients and users and staff will be a much better place. Thank you.
I think what Ade had to say about being clear about where we want to go and doing the work to get where we want to go chimes with what the challenges Zoe must have had in moving to the top of a trade union that has never seen somebody like her in that position. So I'm going to just ask her, you know, what are the motivations? What got you going? What made you keep going when it was difficult?
For me, my enthusiasm to get involved in the trade union was a personal experience, which is the main reason people get into trade unions, to be honest. So I had lots of, I call discrimination, issues with, you know, you need to have a degree, get a degree, then you need to have something else. So the goalpost was being moved away, having to do twice as much work as my peers, and not being recognised for it. So when I had a really bad manager who was just blatantly picking on me, shall I say, MIP really supported me through that and helped me. So I wanted to help other people and give something back. So that's how I got involved. And just keep going forward.
While you're making your way, Jack Tull wants to say something.
I think just on that last question, how did you get to the top? A lot of people say, I got to the top by kicking down doors, breaking down barriers. The trouble with that story is, it doesn't work. And I heard, Reggae Sauce, what's his name? Levi Roots. I want to tell you Levi Roots' story of kicking down doors. Levi Roots speaks about his great success, and he says that he has a great product. He always had a great product, but nobody would invest in him until he got to Dragon's Den. When he got to Dragon's Den, a white man showed him the door and opened the door for him, and he walked in. Bank managers fell over themselves to give him the money. He says before that, he used to kick down doors, and the bank manager used to go, "You just kicked down my door, get out." Now, the bank manager invites him in and offers him a cake. What we need to learn is either how to walk around the door, around the barrier, and get on before they realise we've gone past. And sometimes, some of my promotions were gained because I knew who the blockers were just above me and around me. The people who were discriminating against me, people who were damaging my career, I went around them by working with people above them and around them and carrying on doing a good job. And then by the time you've got promoted, they've gone, "Hey, how did he get promoted?" You get round it somehow. So don't be a victim, as our colleague said. Work in creative ways. We've got a wealth of experience here to share with you, and we can show you some of those examples. I just wanted to share Levi Root's story from what you said.
Good afternoon. My name is, they call me Sam in this trust, but my real name is Korea Bwaje. I'm a Ghanaian by root. I've been in this country for some time. I really did find it very difficult to come forward and say a word or two. But because it's a conversation, the theme is conversation, you'll never get it wrong. After all, Jojo is better than war. We have to go to also take into account of the very basic issues. I really also did find it difficult greeting a few exercises we did over there. I was always going from my right to the left, and please forgive me if I ignore you, because from my very root, you have to greet from the right to the left. If you go from left, now, how many times haven't we met people in the street, in our workplaces, and say hello? You greet someone in the street, what does she want from me? We have to take whatever is good in our culture and make Britain great.
I think we are going to make Britain great, if it's not great already. All of the speakers have spoken twice except Fowler, so I'm going to give Fowler the last word. But before I do, I'd like to recognize Nola Ishmael, one of our pioneers. If you could stand, Nola. I don't think she needs any introduction in this trust, but you know, as a pioneer and as somebody who's worked in the DH, one of the first black nurses in this country to head up, be a chief nurse in the organisation. Nola, what we're going to do as a network is that we're going to have something, and Vicky's coined the name of the event. It's called the Shining Lights Award. So later on in this year, we're going to announce our Shining Lights Award, and you are going to be our first awardee. And we are not giving you something because we want to do something for you. We are giving you something for all you've done for us. And that's the importance of it. So keep on contributing. We know you will. So thank you for that. And Fowler, if you just give the last word.
Thank you. I don't know why Joel is giving the last word, but I'll try my best. I just really have to bring it back to why we're here today and the whole concept of Ubuntu. I've attended loads of events like this where we have a conversation and we sort of go away feeling really elated, enthusiastic and all fired up. And when we get back into the organization, unfortunately the day job kind of takes over and we all kind of just slip in. But I think Ubuntu gives us an opportunity to anchor a lot of what we've been talking about today on that. And I have to go back to what I said earlier in terms of the definition of what Ubuntu is and what the Archbishop said. And I think if we use that as one of the sort of the guiding principles of what we want to do, that would help us in sort of bringing more or less everything together. And I have to go back to that because it says it is part of the gift that Africa will give the world. And I think in your trusts, the different trusts that you are, you need to define what that actually means. So when we're saying Africa giving a gift to the world, in today's world, we really understand what that is. There are a lot of issues going on in the world today. A lot of the problems that have been created in the world today, the solutions are to be found in Africa. In the next 30, 40, 50 years, that's what it's going to be. So we have the tools. It is in us. It is inbred in us. What we've got to do is to bring out those tools and use those tools in the proper way. So my last sentence, if you like, is for us to go back and define what that African in us is and how we can then use that as a gift for your trusts and I suppose as a gift to the wider NHS. Thank you.
Well, my job is done and we have been invited here and the chair of the network, Margaret Morgan Valentine, she is going to just give the vote of thanks. And the local network has been a wonderful host, so thank you for all that you've done. I know you've shown leadership in allowing us to come here and share these things with you. So, thank you very much.
Hello to you all. Really, I'm going to be brief because the food is there and it's smelling gorgeous, so I'm going to be brief. I really wanted to stand to thank you all for coming. This is the 10th year that we've actually been in operation, so it's our Ealing Bme staff network, it's our 10th year, and just knowing that we've got an occasion like this to celebrate our coming together, and often it's about 5 or 6 of us key steering group members working on something to make something happen. So it's great to see what it is that we've been able to achieve. There are so many people that help to make this event work. We supported by hosting, but I really want to say thank you to the Health and Social Care Forum. Thank you to Nolan. Where's Nolan? You're right in front of me. Thank you, Nolan, for your support, for your networking and being able to bring this together. I want to thank you all for your reflections and thank you all for attending. I would like to say one thing.